plasma is created by the arc. It displaces air and actually works kind of like the cone of a speaker almost.
Yeah, so we're actually electromagnetically vibrating the atmosphere, and that's what's producing the sound waves that we hear. The MIDI outputs to this box right here, and this is something that I designed, and it's just a little microcontroller. See that?
Sweet.
It's a little PIC 32. Yeah. It's got a program on there that it interprets the MIDI data and it outputs a fiber optic light signal. Basically, the fiber optic signal goes into this box, and this is the driver for our H bridge. And the H bridge drives a resonant LC circuit. So basically, what that means is every time that we pulse the coil at the frequency of this circuit, the voltage builds up every single pulse. So what we end up with is a maximum of 18,000 volts across our primary coil, and then that energy gets coupled into the secondary coil, which is also a resonant transformer. It's a resonant coil because it has inductive and capacitive properties, and that steps up the voltage even more. So we end up with upwards of 500,000 volts out of that output at the top.
Do y'all know anybody else that's doing anything like this? Or
there's some people that are doing it a little bit now, but we were the first people to ever set up a system that works like this specifically.
And you'll usually have two going back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they kind of connect the lighting back and forth between the two.
Sometimes they'll attract each other. Sometimes they oppose. It all depends on the phase of the coil compared to the other one.
We use a big metal arch, kind of like a mast with two large arches that come off. They're about 18 feet in the center. We try and center the coils underneath them, which gives us a little over a 10-foot spark. So we try and put our 10-foot spark to the center pole.
Gotcha.
So it's but it'll hit anywhere on the arches.
Yeah, gotcha.
But we use that just to control where the spark's going to go. It makes everything a lot more predictable.
Gotcha. Yeah. And y'all are doing a tour this summer, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're hooked up with a booking agent called Alice Loos, and we actually met them while we were playing shows in Amsterdam. And they have a schedule to play throughout Holland and some of the surrounding countries from the beginning of June till the end of August.
And you're going to have a videographer there the whole time as well?
We will have a camera there, but what we're doing is we're hiring a technician just to do general things. He's going to do everything from setting the stuff up and running the Variacs to whatever we can have him, we can put him on a camera too to take video of the events.
Gotcha. If we got an open labs instrument, tell us a little bit how you'd use it.
I think the possibilities are pretty limitless with what we can do with that. Just the fact that it's open software, you can put whatever you want on there, and we can control everything from our Tesla coil here to our robotic drum set, to our lights, to our costumes that we're building that are actually going to be in sync with the music.
It would be our main brain unit for our entire show. We control our robot, we control our lighting systems. One thing that we're planning on having done by June is we're going to have wireless costumes that sync up with the MIDI, and so we'll have different lights and stuff like that on the costume. And
EL wire, LEDs, different little gizmos that are all computer controlled as part of everybody's outfits, so that they become part of the show and sync up with the music. Don't even have to think about it.
Exactly, but we'll interface it with the hardware that we build, and it'll essentially just take the place of the laptop.
So if you guys got one of our boards and you went on tour with it, and I know that you get videotape of it, and the crowd would be able to see it and things like that. But aren't you guys doing some workshops while you're out there in Europe as well?
Yeah, exactly. Our booking agent is booking us as like a rock band performance. They're booking us as an art installation where we're just going to bring out the Tesla coils, and they're also booking us to do workshops in which we're just going to have a panel in which we explain to people how our setup works. And your system would be integral to that part, since it's going to be the piece that's controlling everything. So there would definitely be room for us to go over that in our workshops too. But generally, we're going to go over things like how a Tesla coil works, how we make them produce sound, and the like.
Everybody always wants to know where the music comes from, and we've been telling them a laptop, but if we had something a little snazzier to throw out there for them, I'm sure that it'd definitely get some attention.
Yeah, generally when they say they come over to the DJ booth and say, "You're running it from that thing," which is this archaic piece of junk. So, I mean, it does what it does most of the time.